Okay, so we are now recording. Okay, now I have.
Oh.
Okay. As it turns out, what I'm going to want to go through this morning is primarily we've had a lot of issues with trying to get our mailer working the way we want it. And so I'm going to go through two things about mailing today and see what kind of discussion that brings up, and then we'll move. As soon as we can get this behind us, we'll be closing in on the auction closing procedures. So as you recall, last time we did a demonstration, we reviewed the mailer, which looks something like this. Now, at the moment, I have only my only my email address is available in the active bidders list. So, just to illustrate that, I'll go here, we'll go look at my profile, look at my interests, and you'll see that I have interest set up in my profile. And also, if I look here, I do subscribe to the email list. Now, we're going to probably change this description here because people are going to have to learn that we now have two mailers. We have the weekly mailer that Michelle's been doing forever, and we have the new mailer, which is just the things that folks are interested in. Now, this one here is the bulk mailer that we're accustomed to using. If that little checkbox is checked, then this email address here will get the weekly bulk mailer, and they'll be in whatever groups that user belongs to, either bidder and possibly also active bidder or client, or if none of the above, they'll be a subscriber, which means they just came into our system just to get the weekly emails. Okay, and again, the weekly emails have nothing to do yet or ever with this. This is all related to a new functionality that we've got set for you. We'll get to it a little bit later. Okay, now, so if we go back to our admin and to our mailer, we pick the list we want to send to. I'm going to get active bidder, and again, I'm the only person at the moment that's in that list. Now we can determine how we want the email to look by adding a header and a footer and a border. We typically will not put anything in email subject or the body. You can, if you wish. The system, when we're doing the weekly bulk mail, the system assigns a subject, but if you want it to say something else, you can fill that in here. Michelle, we do have the delay time working.
Great.
And you can tell it down to the minute when you want to deliver this bulk mail. Now, I'm not going to set this. If you do not put a value in here, it will send the mail immediately. Okay, so, and you can compose your mail. And now you can use this function if you want to send a message to any one of these groups. subscribers, bidders, active bidders, clients, etc. By filling in email subject and email body. However, if you are using it in the way that it's being used now for the weekly, what I call announcements, you have to select one or more of these groups of auctions. You can include the listed auctions, which will get the ones that are not open yet. You can get all the open auctions. If you want to include the auctions that are ending, which you typically wouldn't, because they're going to get this email and the auction's going to be over maybe before they read the email. So this would exclude any auction. Unless you click here, any auction that's ending in the next 12 hours will not be included in the bulk mail. So what I'm gonna do, just to kind of get us a shorter list, I'm gonna select just the all listed. Now, and then once you pick the group as here all listed, and you decide you don't want to send one of them, you can uncheck it.
And you can choose multiple, like all listed and all open, correct?
Yeah.
For the same bulk
Yeah.
mailer. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And you can unchoose them the same way.
Okay.
All right. So with that done, I'm going to click send. And you'll see a momentary message up there. It says processing. Then it says that messages queued for the sender. That means that bulk mail has the bulk mail provider, which is Mailgun, has this information and is processing it now. And I've got my email client off the screen. Let me hop over
And
here.
you choose that delivery time only if you want it delayed.
Right.
Okay.
If you want to send it now, just don't put any value in there. If you put a value in there, if it's within the next 3 days, it'll delay the sending for that amount of time. If it's outside of a 3-day window, it will give you an error. If it's in the past, if the time is in the past, then it'll send it now. All right, so, all right, so I've got the message on another screen. I'm going to open that up on okay, so here's what I got. And we have taken for the emails, we have taken the graphic out from the bottom.
Yeah, that looks nice. Looks clean.
Yep.
Now, one other thing that's changed since the last time we talked is that it was how users unsubscribe. At the last meeting, I stated that when you click the unsubscribe link, it's all handled in the background by Mailgun. That's no longer true. We will be handling the unsubscribes on our system, so that if they click this unsubscribe link, it will go to a page on, in this case, CherylBates.com that says, how do you want to unsubscribe? Now on here, we were calling this, we need to get our terminologies lined up, but the auction announcements are the weekly emails. So they can unsubscribe just by unclicking that box and then updating. Now, in addition to the weekly emails, they now have a choice to get what's called interest mailing. And they choose a frequency for that. So I want my interest mailing. And again, this will just be the things that I've indicated an interest on in my user profile. And as we discussed in the last meeting, we will not be, I mean, tons of the people on the system now have every box checked on that
Yep.
interest. So we are not going to bring that forward. We're going to bring across empty interest lists for everybody. And so they'll still get their weekly emails. If they're currently subscribed, they'll still be subscribed to get the weekly emails, but the interest categories are all going to be gone. So, and the only reason for them to have interest categories would be to get this new interest mailer. Now, and they can get that in one of, they can either not get it, they can opt out of this by clicking this box and continue to get their weekly emails. Or they can get both. They can get their weekly emails, and then maybe once a day they get they get an email with everything that matches their interest list that they haven't seen. That has just primarily anything has just been listed.
And you said that, if I remember from one of the Zooms ago, that their interest, well, you said today also, the interest will be wiped out. So they won't get interest mailings unless they go back into their profile and choose them.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'll circle back to that a little bit when I finish talking here. Now,
Okay.
what this will do, if they click this box here, that will unsubscribe them from the weekly emails. But as it stands in this showing right here, they would continue to get their interest emails either daily or weekly. So we decided to give them a choice. For people that find email annoying, then maybe they won't find it so annoying if they just got a notification once a week of everything that they're interested in that was listed that week. So it's their choice, either nothing, daily, or weekly. All right, any questions?
Oh,
Now, there's not a function on the screen for you to initiate this. This is what's going to be what's commonly referred to as a cron job. It's going to happen offline, so that the only thing you have to do we'll have some setup information in the future that lets you configure it a little more tightly than the way I'm going to show you that it works. But you don't have to do anything. Basically, the user picks their interests and sets their frequency, and then they get their emails without any intervention on your part.
You might have already stated this. I apologize if I missed it, but I know that you said you were going to bring everything over the way that people have it. Are we going to have everybody already selected for the auction announcements? Like, is everybody gonna?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay, just
Yes.
making sure.
Yeah, if they're getting an email now, they'll continue to get an email.
Okay, so it's gonna transfer just the way it is. Like,
right.
Okay.
It will transfer with this box checked,
Cool.
if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Now, the interest, basically, they're going to get a blast. If they do the daily, they'll get a blast every day. If they have something common like cars or trucks, things that get listed frequently, then they're going to get maybe a lot of stuff in their email, in their mailbox every day. If they're just looking for, well, computers are pretty common too, but maybe I don't know, lift equipment or something maybe that's not quite as common, and they would just get an email whenever it happened to get listed. It gets the emails will start going out about it the day that it's listed. And we have a decision to make on when we, with you, on when those emails go out. They can be. My thinking is that they will be compiled after hours, and again we have the delay function built into our bulk mailer. So if we compile them at midnight every day, or anytime after your close of business when you're through listing auctions, we could compile the emails and then have a delayed function that would maybe send them out at 8 o'clock the next morning, or whenever you feel like the biggest group of where people are most likely to find that email. Is it common for people to look at their email first thing in the morning? Is it like me? It's on your phone. It pops up whenever it comes in. But anyway, that's a decision to be made, and we don't have to make that decision right now. But I mean, what would you, right off the top of your head, what would you think would be the appropriate time to send those?
I don't think it
Again, when I'm
matters.
talking, you don't think it matters?
I think like 8 p.m. I mean, just some generic time every night. And then, I mean, because like everybody checks their email differently. So like every morning when I turn on my Renee Bates email, I get whatever came in over the night first,
Right.
essentially. And then whatever, it just, people are going to people. It doesn't really, but on my phone, I get my other email account, and that one, I just think we just need to pick one. I think 8 p.m. is good for the daily.
Yeah, my opinion, like on Monday morning when we get into the office, that's when we have to sort through a ton of emails. So maybe the weekly one of the interests could be like sent out on a Sunday, that they get it, they see it Monday morning when they come in. Just a thought.
Okay. So 8 p.m. on the dailies, and
Just, end of business day on the weekly. I mean, we're done for that's everything that we listed that week.
Sunday night on the.
That's, like I said, that's just a suggestion. It doesn't have to be.
But your point was that it would be in their mailbox first thing Monday morning.
Yeah.
For the weeklies. Okay.
And then the manually do the every Tuesdays. Just for those people.
And you, what time of day do you typically send those?
It depends. I look and see what auctions are closing that day, and then I try and wait as long as possible to schedule them, because we're putting up auctions left and right. So I want to grab as many as are current. But like if our last auction is closing at 3:30, I'll start the first batch, which is just active bidders, because right now I have to do it in 2 separate chunks. I'll start that like around, if we're done, if the auctions are done, I'll start like around 4:30, and then I almost 100% of the time, like the second batch, which is inactive subscribers and clients, I'll send it between 8 and 8:30.
Okay, I had a question actually. If I'm an active bidder, do I also appear in your bidders list?
What do you mean?
I mean, you have a an email that you send to bidders, and you have
Well,
an active bidders
well,
list.
active is one, and then inactive is another, and then clients and subscribers. So I do
Okay,
active.
okay. So it's not all bidders. It's active bidders and inactive bidders,
Correct.
which
So I
filters
do
out the
active. Active I do
band.
first, and then I do inactive clients, subscribers second. But I think you said this one, I can grab them all at the same time. And it should be able to handle it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
again, the mechanics of this is it only sends one email per list to Mailgun, and then Mailgun uses that as a trigger to send it to the entire list. In other words, we'll have an email. These will be kind of like pseudo email addresses, which are or they refer to them as aliases. You'll have an email address, something like active underscore bidders at reneebates.com. And you send the email to that address, and then Mailgun gets it and says, oh, that's a alias. So that means I want to send this one email to all, excuse me, it sends it individually. It doesn't send, I don't know, you've probably got mailing list emails that have a string of a couple of hundred uh,
Mhm.
two addresses on. This doesn't do that. Each email goes out individually or addressed individually. So, but it does that based on we. All I'm trying to say is we use very little resources to initiate the bulk mailer, whereas the system now does a lot of processing. It's processing each email individually and sending it to the Mailgun.
But I can still grab, like on that other screen that where right now you're the only recipient. Like when I was testing it, I was able to grab, like highlight all four of those at the same time, and
Yes,
yeah.
that is correct.
Okay.
You were talking. Let's see. Uh,
Meaning I will just be sending one email, like I'll just grab everybody at once.
right. If you do that, then it
Yeah.
sends it to all four lists.
Then that's what I
Now,
plan, yeah, on doing.
there's a little. I need to do a little configuration change, but that's not a big deal, and you can test with it this way. Excuse me. Bidders is every bidder. That needs to be changed to inactive bidders.
Okay.
But that's that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions about that?
No.
If again, what the idea was, if they get frustrated and because they get these big emails every Tuesday that have all this stuff that so they're getting all these salvage cars, and that doesn't interest them in the least. They're looking for office furniture, um, and they say, "Well, I don't want to see that stuff anymore. I want to unsubscribe." And they're going to come to here, and then we're going to offer them the opportunity if they unsubscribe to see just what they're interested in. So this screen's new. The update subscription.
Would we, and this is me just like, would we put like a brief description, like interest, mailing frequency, and then I don't know.
Well, I have a question on this and it's almost semantics, but when a bidder goes in and does choose their interests, we're talking plural, interests. It might only be one interest, like you said, office furniture, but it's in a clump of them called interests. So should this
Mhm.
not say interests mailing frequency? Just because I'm thinking like a bidder and they look at this, well, I'm not interested in a mailing frequency, but if we get them to think, well, that's what this is referring to the interests you have selected. Somehow,
That's what was getting at. Like, is there a
Okay.
way that like we could put dash like or in parentheses after that, like these are the categories
you've chosen as your
I've
interest.
chosen, and then
Yeah.
after auction announcements or in parentheses, like this is this weekly email. I don't know,
Right,
like,
an explanation of what they're choosing.
because
Because-
they're gonna go in and get
Or-
frustrated and they're just gonna say none, and then auction announcements will still be checked, and then they're gonna get mad. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, I think we need to explain to them, and it looks like we've got plenty of space here afterwards, like whether it's parentheses or a dash, just say after the interest. These are the categories you have chosen, or these are the interest categories you have chosen. And then auction announcements, this is the weekly email of all auctions currently on our website, or something like that. They need an explanation.
So,
Okay,
so as for the correcting the title of that to for interest, I have made that so it'll be in the next update. Um, as for some explanation, um, this is strictly from email, so the user is not logged in at this point. So we want to keep the personalized information that's on the screen to a minimum. So I would prefer not to list out specifically with the fact that it can get a little, if someone goes a little overboard on what their interests are, it can get a little overwhelming. But we
Well, I
can
didn't mean to
include.
list, oh, sorry.
But I think we did talk about when we have the FAQ and the a migration help page, we could have a link from this page to a section there saying, describing what the interest mailing is, and we could also make a comment of to update your interest, please log in and go to the profile page. And just a comment like that.
Yeah, I didn't intend that you're listing out their interests. We're just telling them by choosing one of these bullet points, you're indicating, it's referencing your interests. It's not, I didn't expect them to list out all the interests here, just tell them what they're choosing. You're choosing this based on your interests in your bidder profile or something to that effect.
Yeah, yeah,
And
we
that-
can make it.
Not actually list them.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, of having a comment underneath, somewhere around there to say, please log in to update your interest.
who's writing all
Okay.
these FAQs for this new gen?
who's what? I'm sorry, what was the question?
I was just laughing. I was like, who is going to write all of the FAQs,
Oh, you hadn't
questions
heard?
and answers? Like, it's going to be massively different.
Yeah.
I'm saying that with a smile on my face, like,
But don't you remember 3 meetings ago you volunteered?
no, I did not. That I would remember. Oh, Jeff, I totally get what you're saying. Mary Beth, I totally get what you're saying because you and I were trying to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just keep moving.
Okay. Now I'm going to excuse me. let's see here. Let me go away from that screen. Go back to here. I am logged in on this screen on Cheryl Bates, and I'm going to take a peek here at my profile and look at my interest screen. Now, on my interest screen, I'm saying I want to get this email weekly, and I want to see mowers and lawn equipment. That's the only thing that's checked. All right, so there will be on the background computer operations, there will be two different ones that will run. One will be one that runs Monday through Friday, and another one will be one that runs on, as we said, Sunday, which collects all of the auctions from the previous week. Now, what's going to happen? Okay, now I have my bidder set up to get a weekly email of all of the lawn equipment or mowers or whatever it was, and the system once the system notifies whoever's asked for it, then it marks it as done, and it won't come up again to avoid sending people the same stuff over and over and over again. Now, if so everything that we brought over in the weekly or what we call the refresh or the update of your database, all the auctions from the legacy database, they all get brought across as being done. They've all been notified. Now we do that primarily for testing. So when we don't get all of these auctions that we brought over from the legacy system and do a test on the interest mailing and get 2,000 items pop up on our page. So the only thing that's going to come up on my interest mailer is the auctions that I've added since I updated your database, which is one. I've added where'd he go? This auction right here, and it has lot number 1 is lawn equipment. And there's other stuff there, obviously. That's the test auction that we've been using since a while that Michelle sent me the pictures and the CSV for.
Okay, so when you're basically, when we at auctions, like if they got this JDP one was up and they got an email today telling them that this is their lawn equipment for this, next week, if the JDP one is still up, it's not going to be included in that weekly email because they've already seen it once.
Very good.
Okay.
You are paying attention very closely.
Just a note, I have added the edit this auction link right above the lot tab, so you can go straight to if you're an admin, you can go straight to edit the auction from the screen.
Okay, that's cool.
Only if you're an admin, yeah. Your customers won't be able to do that. Your bidders won't have that link. Okay, so now in the background, what's going to happen now this one was the weekly on say, Sunday night or at 8 o'clock or Sunday at midnight. Then in the background, the computer is going to run a command that looks something like that. It says, I want to send interest weekly. So I'm going to, again, this is a background command. I'm just showing it to you. And then it pops off a response there. And let me go over here and check my inbox. And I have a mail from, let's see. And this is all configurable. It's from your friends at Renee Bates Auctioneers.
Yeah.
It has the person's name, of course, and their email address and a subject. Now, you can figure all this stuff up here. Recently listed lots in your interest list. And there's an introduction here. It says, here's a list. Here's a list of recently listed items in the categories which you indicated an interest.
That looks great.
Yada, yada, yada. And then it groups them. You'll get a group. You'll get an auction at the top. And then for that auction, you'll get a list of all of the lots that match this person's interest. And if there's multiple auctions, then you'll get this scenario repeated.
Okay.
Now, if they click here, it went over to my other screen. If you click there, it takes them directly to the lot.
Okay.
Or if they, or they can click here and it takes them directly to the auction.
Click it.
This one?
Yeah.
Sorry, but it's putting the page over on the other screen.
But basically it brings you to this exact view that we're
Yes.
on. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Now-
that would be handy if this whole auction is nothing but lawn equipment. Rather
Right.
than each individual lot that was listed on that email, just click the auction.
If it is an individual, if it happened to be if it happened to be that lot right there, it would position, if they were looking for playground equipment, then it would position them here.
Okay, good. Was going to be my next question.
Let's see if we can illustrate that. Go back to here. I assume you have a category called playground equipment.
We do. Number 90.
90.
So there's the email I get now.
Mhm.
It takes me to the lot.
Okay, and you didn't scroll just now. It scrolled down automatically to that lot.
Yeah, it was automatic.
That's cool.
Hey, while we're looking at this, can I ask, and I'm sure it's a translate from one place to the other, to each plastic children, what's that capital O?
I knew better than do this, but because I knew you would catch me on it, Mary Beth. No, it's a problem with that you encounter when you upload Windows files from a Mac computer that you get on a special character sometimes.
Right, that's supposed to be an apostrophe, yeah, okay.
It's supposed
I
to
see
be an
it in the other
apostrophe or
two.
something, but
So,
if you
yeah.
if you upload it on your computer, it'll be fine.
Okay,
We have the encoding set for coming from a Windows machine. So when David uploads it from his Mac, the encoding isn't right and it puts in those weird characters.
see those darn Macs, they just don't get along with others.
Steve and Bill, man, we're just still having it out.
Okay, any more questions on that? Because that pretty much is what I wanted to go over with you today. Is the
Okay,
I think it's great.
Yeah, I like that it's more personalized and the bidders will get what they can choose what they want.
Yeah, I think it will be well, I don't want to be negative, Nelly. I think Mary Beth and I were thinking the same thing, like on that one train. Bidders are just not gonna.
Yeah, they're not gonna be intuitive
gonna-
to know what they're choosing without an
No,
explanation.
Well, how
And-
about if how about if I send you a copy of that and you tell us what you want, what how you think the bidders could. Like Jeff said, we don't want to put any personal information there, but
No.
we want to make sure they know what we're offering them.
Right, we want them to
I think it
understand
would-
what they're choosing.
Yeah, just like a really succinct little statement after each, like, this is the email that you opted to receive when new lots are added, and then this is the weekly email
It
that
shows all options.
shows
Yeah.
all auctions currently on our website. Like literally just something that brief and succinct,
Yeah.
and hopefully that explains the two clearly.
But you're
Okay.
welcome to send it to us and we'll hash it out between us.
Okay.
Does anybody
Well,
else
when you
feel
start-
that way, or is that just me and Mary Beth? Like,
Whenever you start testing,
Some definition. or
if
something.
when you send the bulk mail, if you click on the unsubscribe button, it'll give you that page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Like here,
Mhm.
if you there.
hold on, just
Or I can send you a copy of that if you like.
I'm just Jennifer, Brittany, what do y'all think on that?
Yeah, I think there needs to be some sort of like definition of what
Just
it
a
is.
real quick little,
Yeah, just a little something.
just a blip, like just a blip. Okay,
Just
Okay.
something small because I don't think it's like self-explanatory enough for our bidders.
exactly. But it doesn't need to be a paragraph. It's just
No, and it doesn't have to be like, yeah, it doesn't have to be a whole thing. It can just be a little statement.
Okay. I will email that to you and a PDF copy of that. And if you want to get your heads together and come up with some wording there, let us know and then we'll.
it'll be super
Yeah.
brief.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
one sentence.
Literally like what I just said. I wish
Yeah.
I had written that down because that was basically it.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Now,
Yeah.
all right. Do you want me to? As far as testing is concerned, there's not on the interest mailer. I'm not quite sure how to deal with you testing on that. Do you want me to set that up so that it runs like we talked about at night, and then you check it
Yeah.
the next day, or?
Yes.
Okay, I can do that. All right, so if you indicate that you indicate you want your mailings daily, then they will be sent at 8 o'clock in the evening, Monday through Friday. And if you indicate weekly, they will be sent Sunday night. And again, for your testing purposes.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Thank you for your time. I apologize again for the delay this morning, but like Michelle said, the best laid plans of mice and men sometimes don't work too well.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we are.
I'm glad we got this done today.
we're behind us. We got, hopefully have this function behind us so we can now focus on closing auctions and close out the loop on this so we can go through some more finalized testing. Putting up an auction, bidding on it, testing all the functionality, closing it, sending
Scared, y'all.
emails. Scared what?
Ooh,
You just don't want to get those phone calls, do you?
Not at all.
Well, Jeff mentioned, the a link to a document that to be defined. But we'd also, Michelle, talked about a video.
I
Mhm.
think, yeah, I've seen that on other places, and I think it's a good idea. Right now I'm looking like the footer on this one. The licenses are, they have semicolons in between them, and the other ones are bulleted. I don't know if there's a difference in a footer somewhere, or
There
if
is.
we
It's
have
it's coming from different places, so
Okay.
I'll try to get that resolved. Do you like the bullets or the
Yeah,
semicolons
it's a lot
better?
cleaner.
Yeah.
The bullets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to nitpick. I was just hunched over to read everything because my eyes are old. Um,
Okay. Yeah. That's. All right. I'm making a note of that.
okay. There's somebody at my door.
Do you have any more questions, Jeff?
Nope. Yeah. We'll. Yeah. We're moving on to the next thing unless you have any issues, and yeah, continue testing everything we've showed you so far of the bidding, the mailers, the inventory, and just let us know if you find any issues.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll talk maybe later this week or early next week about our next get together, and I will have a minor update to send to uh, Cheryl Bates on the programming, but I will let you know when that's happening, and hopefully it won't be. You'll never know it happened, and have yet to set up the automatic end of day and end of week mailing. That will be done before the end of the day. All right, guys. Thanks everyone for your participation.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Good meeting.
Thank you.
Look forward to next time and have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
y'all.
All right. Bye now.
Thank you.
Okay.